This is a true story. I was driving home once from collecting the kids from school, and funnily enough, it's another bloody roundabout. May as well call this roundabouts with Goldbridge. It's another roundabout, and it's a mini roundabout. To be fair, you could technically say I was in the wrong, but that never happens, obviously. So I'm terrible at being in the wrong, as many people will confirm. I don't like being in the wrong, although I will accept it after hours of deliberation, but and stubbornness. But anyway, we're approaching this mini roundabout, and as we hit this mini roundabout, I sort of looked to my right and there was nothing coming. A bit of a blind spot, to be fair, because there's a house on the corner with a big hedge, but I approached it, I'd slowed down, couldn't see anything coming, started to go. It wasn't a smooth movement. It wasn't like I was gambling, there's nothing there. I actually had slowed down, started to go. As I started to go, this woman in a car, she had to be in a car, she can't be just a woman running up at like, I'm a pretend car, I'm a woman, I'm a pretend car. So she's in a car, and she's not slowed down. She's looked right, but she hasn't bothered to look left, because ultimately the person on the right always gets the right of way. But it's a dangerous roundabout, so you should also look left, because somebody like me might have just started to go because they can't see you coming and you've approached it too fast. She starts going, I slam my brakes on. She gives me the V. I mean, to be honest, she's creative. I've got to say, she's creative. She's not only is she driving too fast into a mini roundabout, she's also very, very inept at getting her finger out and sticking it at me through the window. So I picked at her and said, obscenity, probably the F word, and it wasn't for God's sake. And she gets out of a bloody car and comes up to the window, and I'm like, oh my God, I've got kids in the back. She didn't. Anyway, she comes up to the window, effing and jeffing, and she's going bloody ape shit, like she's going absolutely crazy. So I wound the window down and I just said, do yourself a favour. I didn't add love on it, because that's massively condescending and sexist. I said, do yourself a favour. I've got kids in the back of my car. I'm not getting into an argument about something as trivial as this. Do yourself a favour, go get back in your car and get on with your day. I did say it in quite a condescending way, but there was no swear words and there was no sexism, because that's not me. And swear words are. But anyway, she goes and gets back in her car, and I thought, I've actually won that in a condescending, nice way. I've finished her. It was like a Mortal Kombat finishing move. It was perfect. She wasn't happy, but I think she saw the kids in the back of the car and she thought, yeah, he's sat me down with cynical politeness. Why don't you do yourself a favour? No one wants to get into an argument. Go and get back in your car. I think I might have had a jog on as well, but that would probably be quite what's the word? That's only going to make things worse, isn't it? So yeah, that did happen. And the next thing I know is we're just about to start going, and she slams her brakes on. And here we go. She slams her brakes on, and I've just started to go. Basically, it was a deliberate move to cause a crash. I couldn't believe it. She was so angry about my cynical put down that she decided to cause a car crash. So basically what happens is she goes into I'm in completely the wrong area. I'm going to do a roundabout myself here. She goes, oh God, I've done it again. I've told her to go back to her car. Optional jog if you want, jog on. You know, I'm only thinking of her exercise. She could do with some. No, she wasn't. She was fine. There was nothing. Even if she did need exercise, that's a silly comment. But I basically said to her, you know, optional jog on your way, which is obviously wound her up a little bit. I can almost see the steam coming from her ears. But she takes it from level 1 to level 5. You know, she starts going in her car, I start to go, and she stops her car. I slam my brakes on, but actually connect with the back of her car. And I'm like, I cannot believe it. I even turned around to the kids who at that age would not have any idea about what was going on. And I was like, I cannot believe what she's done. I can't believe what she's done. Anyway, I go to get out of the car and she speeds off. I'm like, you've just damaged your own car potentially, and mine, to prove a point. Just because I told you to go and sit back in your car and sit down. in a nice, condescending way. And that's a true story. Anyway, there was no damage to my car, and there was no damage first. I did follow her for a little bit. When she drove off, I was like, I'm not having this, because if there's damage to my car, I need to get her registration. And I actually didn't have my glasses on, so I was having to, I couldn't tell whether it was an F or a P. So I had to get a little bit, I'm joking. I wasn't trying to get the registration. I was sort of following, you know, like a lot of drivers will relate to this. Like if something goes on and someone really pisses you off, you sort of do follow them a bit. You think you're Magnum PI or something like that, or the Dukes of Hazzard. And I did follow for a little bit, but I then realised, even though I was trying to follow and probably make them think that I was going to follow them all the way home, I actually then realised, after I calmed down a bit, that we were actually heading on the same route. And then I started to feel a bit bad, because I didn't want her to think I was stalking her or anything like that. So I ended up going a long way home, because I didn't want her to think. Every junction back to my house, she was going. And then I panicked and thought, is it a neighbour? But it wasn't. It wasn't. I didn't recognise the car. I never saw them again. But look, it just shows you what people can do. Even when you don't swear and wind them up in that way, you can just literally say, why don't you go do yourself a favour, go back to your car, jog on and sit down. And she got so angry that she slammed her brakes on purposely and made me go into the back of her. Which is not an analogy for anything else that happened, by the way. So there we go.